For anyone who isn't familiar with the concept, a recursive translation is when something is taken from one language, translated to at least one more, and then converted back to the source language. The results can be quite interesting. Anyway, let's go. Another world, departure into darkness. At night, the peace of the Japanese people was suddenly broken, and a pillar of darkness fell from the sky. Soon he sees two terrifying creatures emerge from a dark column and destroy the longship and plane that had come to pick them up before launching an attack. Two research scientists, Mary and Joe Hayakawa, travel for the first time to the world outside the pillar, later known as Mirabilia, and are surprised by what is about to happen. The second path will be the cause of a mysterious disappearance at the beginning of our fall. Mr. Hayakawa's twin sons, I and you, search for a hidden route that leads to a mysterious world beyond the Pillar of Darkness in order to find the whereabouts of their missing parents. A woman named Lisa, whom the twins met when they boarded the train, also joined them on their journey. Did you make a sudden trip to find your missing parents? And a black-cloaked man who wields supernatural powers and summons great creatures in search of the land against the tyrants who rule this new earth. Who is this mysterious man? Demon Gun, Black Wind. The man in black continues his search for the cape while protecting the twins and the Earl from danger. The children name the mysterious traveler Kaze, after the wind that blows along the way. However, Kaze's exploits do not escape the vigilance of the tyrannical lords who rule these lands. Count Tyrant, the tyrant, commands the outside invaders and sends Fungi, one of his four swinging lords of pleasure, to do this untoward thing. Meanwhile, other couples are busy making sure that new partner Lisa is better. However, he is shaken by the appearance of an alien chocobo that he recognizes as Mr. Birdie. Mr. Birdie leads the travelers to an alien forest, where they are greeted by Chocobaba, who reveals that Mr. Birdie's real name is Chobi. Unfortunately, their plans are interrupted once again when Fungus and his minions arrive, but Kaze and Magan arrive in time to protect these demons. Fruit, the smell of the city. Riding a mysterious train bound for their next destination, Lisa and her twins find themselves in a new town filled with dying and lifeless people. Realizing that all may be in vain, I sits down to hit the next wall, but soon finds herself following the thief as he flees with a backpack on his back. The hunt continues in the city, but the Earl thief escapes, and the residents do not sympathize with his fate. Desperate, I comes across a story in Poach Pocket that provides surprising comfort. Meanwhile, Count Tyrant is dissatisfied with the last battle between the Mushroom and the Wind that harbored Magan, and orders another herb to play with the Black Wind Man. Arriving with his minions, he uses his sidekicks to torture the city, forcing you, Chobi, and Lisa to wear toy suits containing spores. But with Kaze's impressive arsenal and the arrival of his new high Poach Pocket, Herb's gameplay is clearly more than he can handle. Master Demon Sword, White Study. Lisa and the unarmed twins run as hard as they can to catch the train leaving for their next destination, but they always leave the train behind. As they despair and have no intention of returning home by train, it seems as if fate intervenes when a thief appears from ahead and leads the dejected travelers to the secret base of Comadensis. This is an armed resistance training to liberate the kingdom. Here the group meets Knive, the leader of the Comadines, Knight and Sid, an extremely talented inventor. While I receives a new costume courtesy of Milo, Sid has doubts about the wonderful armor of the wind. Learning of the sermon, Sid agrees to help Lisa and her son catch up with the group of ghosts, but their happiness is cut short as the tyrant Count Commodus' anger reaches its lowest point. As the assault on Comadine surrounds them, a terrifying wind emerges from the fog. Makenchi, or White Cloud as the wind calls him, is considered a nemesis, and the Magan summoned by the Cloud of Fear can resist the abilities of the wind. Sid, Adventure in the Underground Water Vein. Sid prepares to return underground to Lisa, I and you on his ship, the Catherine. Myers offers instant food, but Poach Poke eats half of it and I chokes. They then take off, but are interrupted by Fungus who transforms them back into their original size, a giant snake named Viking. Now he starts looking for the group. They manage to eliminate him with the help of some mysterious James Bond-type gadgets and a super kick chocobo. But it doesn't take long. Catherine is hurt by the plot. Sid goes crazy and brings out a bunch of strange machines, which Fungus keeps balanced until his death. Lisa, I and you run towards the rooftop, leaving a distraught Sid behind. However, Fungus was started, but was killed again by Ixion Kaze. Sid is forced to separate from Catherine due to the explosion. The group escapes on the subway. Spiritual technique to protect life. A horde of fire has come to the wilderness. Lisa uses Chobi's thirst to find an oasis in the desert, but soon the grass becomes covered with bulbs of these monsters. The wind appears and eats one. Lisa then has to use Keegan's skills to save her children. However, he is captured, and I and you try to help Posty Pocket, but Posty Pocket only throws them randomly. Lisa trains with her mother in her early childhood, and she recalls using her Keegan skills to cherish. She accidentally inhales water. Aluminum reacts in water and ignites it. I drowns Kazamagan, uses monsters from within, and summons Bismarck to destroy everything. Lisa uses her Keegan skills to revive High. Subway, tunnel dimension enemies. This time the gang rides the subway with the wind. They discover a mysterious girl named Lou on board and realize that her world has been destroyed by a monster named Omega. They explore the train and find the heart. He suddenly attacks Omega with his claws. Omega was broken and scattered all over Marvel. Lou snatches her mirror from Posey's pocket and turns into a wasp capable of firing supersonic beams. Omega fights but is thrown off the train. Kaze asks Ifrit to erase his claws and return them to her crystal. The wind brings Lou back and everyone follows. Soul, the heart of the magic gun. Joey's main pist is now available. Magan explains he has a plan to stop it. Mackenzie came to demo. A fog attack causes Pisto to catch a water cannon bottle. However, as Pisto turns, his water cannon is destroyed by Mackenzie's attack. The group returns to the wilderness. Lou declares her love and agrees after Wind saves her life. It looks like the pist is about to take off. He uses a water cannon with weapons. Kaze tries to use Magan. Pisto tries to use the surrounding sand dunes to steal Magan. Lou helps the group escape underground using sonic rays. The pist caught them and resisted all attacks. Lou blames Joy for sending Omega. Pisto says it has nothing to do with the problem. Kaze requests Pisto to use Magan to destroy it, which Pisto does. However, the weapon backfires and returns to the wind. Kaze replies that Magan is his heart and no one else can steal it. Pisto returns to Joy and reports that Count Omega has been found. The Count finds all his power in Omega's pieces. Publius, never-ending work. And the group comes to a factory where all the employees are constantly working. Therefore, they will build them up and do eternal works. OSHA attacks by forcing the workers to perfectly build machines that resemble giant robots like OSHA. The group fights but does not destroy. The Wind asks Odin to pierce and destroy his armor. OSHA runs away. The Wind helps determine the group's relationship with the children. Mansion, shining memories. Lisa, her children, and Chobi arrive at a town where everything, including the buildings, is made of stone. Yu wanted to meet her parents, so he followed her parents into a big house. They find a room full of large peppers called dead peppers. Chobi eats it and her face turns red and starts moving quickly. The group disbanded. Yu chases after the two, but is quickly captured by the vines. He falls into the well. Lisa found a little blue boy named Haron. He asks why Lisa left him alone. Lisa doesn't understand, but she accepts. They were also captured. Herb picks them up and shows them the nuts, a dimensional portal through Wonderland to find the Omega pieces. He's going to feed the group with hugs. However, the Wind passed through the walnut tree, taking Atmos with it and demolishing the entire house. The gang chases them desperately, and I ask Posty Pocket to bring the dead chili pepper to Chobi to save them. Mr. Roan is nowhere to be found, and the boys say they never talk about him. Lisa sees a sago flower blooming on the ground and remembers the flowers she left as a child, which moved her. Heaven, depart with Chocobo. The same mushroom monster as in Amazing attacks the group, but they are saved by a group of girls. Her shepherd is Choco Emo, Choco Baba's younger sister. CL explains that chocobos are the fastest and can fly. Chobi finds a pink chocobo that is perfect for him, and with Yu's persuasion, he decides to stay with the herd. Lisa and her children leave on the train, but Omega Hair attacks them. Chobi sees a statue dedicated to heaven and places his foot on it, giving him weapons and the ability to fly. He comes and saves Yu from certain death. Then Kaze arrives and asks the giant to turn his hair back into crystalline form. Mushroom, eternal life. Mushroom is confused as all the other masters, including Mackenzie, find Omega's parts. OSHA tells Fungus that she can get her old life back and become strong again. A group arrives in this world and uses the power of mushrooms to make it bigger and more powerful. Lisa's Keegan's skills are unparalleled. Kaze arrives and uses Magan to bring Phoenix and Ixion, but they are strange regenerating mushrooms. In the end, the Wind wins. Meteor, terrifying memories. Fungus captures the twins and sends Chobi onto the ship. The Count plans to sacrifice them to himself. Mackenzie arrives to warn Kinoko of his certain fate. Kaze and Mackenzie are hostile to each other and fight. Wind can't shoot Magan. Mackenzie is lucky that the Wind cannot see Magan on the fire at a glance. Chobi's mushroom grows again and binds the twins with a giant log. The cross arrives and kills the fungus by forming a black shape on the ground. The power of bacteria becomes powerless. Kaze uses Magan to summon the Meteor Master and permanently destroy the mushrooms. Kaze is eventually honored by Mushroom and dies in honor. Omega, encounter and farewell. Lisa, the twins, and Chobi ride the subway again. This time Omega's tail comes to attack them, and without Wind, Omega pulls the core of the train and the train is destroyed. Fable decides to intervene and saves the group from death. There they find the comedian and learn that he is looking for flying water to power Sid's new airship, Cynthia. They plan to use the submarine Jane to travel halfway around the world and find him on Telos. Jane, the sailor puzzle, comes to life. Pisto tells the receiver of his plan to put a submarine into the undersea puzzle, which will help make the chaos more active. All submarines are exploring it. They discover Kaze floating in the water and quickly rescue him. The monster attacks the ship, but it is easily destroyed by a missile. He makes ski slopes, oceans his floors, and draws everyone with his puzzles. Kigenju, beyond mix. Jane reaches the top of the world unperturbed. They are attacked by a Japanese mermaid named Samosan. They try to answer these 3 riddles. Every time they make a mistake, they move closer to chaos. If you fail to solve the puzzle, you will be swallowed by the Chow. The Emperor ascends, followed by Miles and Lisa. It's a simple puzzle, but only accessible to those living in Wonderland. The Emperor and Milo perish and turn into water. Lisa tries, but lacks the former. Samosan laughs and tries to buy time, but Kaze tells a complete lie. Lisa objects to Samosan's questioning, saying he has no answer. Samosan learns that he is dead and attempts to destroy the cube in which they live. Faced with inevitable fate, Lisa uses her life energy to summon the dragon Keegan and save the submarine. However, he was alive, but he lost consciousness. I knew take Keegan to attack. Online game frog. Little Big Adventure. A hermit frog appears in front of Sid and turns him into a frog. He then starts driving the submarine into the mud, and that's where chaos ends up. In his frog form, the frog cannot speak or control the ship. He must find a way to become human again from a frog. He finds a mushroom and instinctively thinks Sid will tell him, but he tries to eat it. You and Chobi then discover Sid and capture him. He finds her and flushes her face in her bathroom in mud. Sid thinks that if he kisses Chocobaba and Chocoma on different accounts, he will become a prince. Although it was cancelled, the idea was a success. He returns to her ship and Lisa tries to kiss her. However, he attacks him with his Keegan skill. Therefore, they believe that Sid is the enemy who sent the enumeration in search. The soldier finally spots Sid and greets him, but she's going to eat it in a sandwich. Sid takes the opportunity to kiss him and he turns back into a human. He gets them out of trouble and back on track. Master Summon, Kiri and Kumo Showdown. Osa shows White Cloud's older brother, Akai Kiri, Mage. The main force simply lands on the clouds due to the magician's attacks and paralysis. Kumo appears and learns that Kiri was killed defending his country from the Chow and wants to challenge his brother for the title of the strongest among the Chow. Kumo desperately fights with his brother. Kiri's sword, thanks to the help of the wind, which is infused with his soul. Kiri then tells his brother what he started and leaves. Kaze and the others break free, and when Kumo and Kaze try to fight, Pisto decides to destroy the sea mystery and moves the main group and comedy to a new country. Kumo returns to his country, standing in front of the remnants of evidence with Clear. And you get into an argument, and is accidentally thrown into a submarine. He meets Serena, a boy who carries water. He claims it cannot be touched or broken. Wind arrives to attack Clear from the monsters sent by the Count to protect them. Kaze says Serena is dangerous, but he doesn't care about The monster returns, but Kaze is unable to defeat it because Magan does not move. Manifesto accidentally removes his gloves while trying to save When Kaze rescues he destroys the entire cube, and the ship narrowly escapes. Secret Joy. Jane lands on top of Joy on top of one of the defensive guards. Chobi transforms into Skyform and flies toward the castle with Yu on board. Chobi runs away and Yu chases after him. He meets a Count who seems to be his friend. Yu learns that his parents work for the Count, preparing food and service at Chaos. Makenchi has arrived. Kaze tries to use my gun, but it doesn't move. Makenchi uses Dragon Mist to rescue Jane from his minions, and Chobi rescues Yu from the castle and kills Jane. However, Yu cannot be said to be good at all. Cactus, Wandering Sea. Jane arrived at a deserted place. Gives Posy Pocket Cactus a chance and then try to capture her, but catching her needle is too hasty and dangerous. They chase him into the wilderness and discover the royal cactus unharmed. Fongo explains that the world has been destroyed by a great force and he is stuck here. Soon a huge wave will arise and destroy them all. He tried to stop the engine but was unsuccessful. Lisa takes her to Keegan to stop him, but fails. The wind also asks Bismarck, but he cannot stop it. Eventually, the cacti come together and create a vortex that disperses the tsunami. They appear unharmed and Jane leaves. Moguri, Nostalgic Memories. Jane has now arrived in a town that looks very peaceful. Soon the adults in the group, except for Kaze, begin to revert to their childhood, and their memories become overwhelmed and useless. And Yu explore the mansion and discover Mowgli disguised as Wind. It turns out that Mowgli and Kaze are partners from another world called Windaria. Mowgli's pom-pom on his head prevents him from returning to his memory and restoring anything to Magan. In a huge tower, they discover the soul of a dark wizard sending waves. They plan to move it to remove it. After reaching her, Kaze wants to set Magan on fire, but does not want her to move with and Yu to return her memories. The waves then begin to affect the wind, but Mowgli pulls him out of the waves and uses Pom-Pom to repair the Magan wind. Wind then summons Ixion Zero, a powerful form of Ixion, which destroys the tower and everyone returns to normal. Mowgli has joined the group. Telos, the Flying Water. Pisto has completed the final weapon, Blue Millennium, to defeat Mag and Kaze. Joanna finds Telos, and the group encounters Bamboru, who is weaving Serena's clothes, which she wore during her flight. They also find Rue, who has a water cave that allows him to fly. Sid sends a team to retrieve the flying water as the Pist attacks and begins destroying it. Kaze uses Magan to attack Phoenix, with Mowgli's help becomes Giga Phoenix. However, Pisto uses Blue Millennium to control Giga Phoenix and destroys the flying water field to attack the group. However, Makenchi appears and uses two giant cloud dragons to destroy Phoenix and Pistron. Everyone but Kaze and Mowgli run towards the submarine. Kaze aims to face Makenchi in the finals. The real identity of the Chaos Count. As expected, the Wind Magan fails again, and Makenchi summons two cloud dragons to the wind. However, the Wind Magic Swordsman returns to the submarine with everyone and reveals that he's a spy against the Count. It also shows the Wind is unconsciously helping the Count, as anything Magan fires promotes chaos. Makenchi declines Comodine's off-road mission and bids farewell. Pisto returns to bed, licking his wounds. Makenchi found him and refuted his plan. Pisto transforms into Falk and uses to destroy the ocean floor puzzle and immobilize Jane. Things are starting to improve for the Count. Meets with Joan himself and begins to take matters into his own hands. He transforms into a giant red monster, Chaos, and destroys Yana. Everyone's fate becomes unknown. Wind. When life shines. The Count finally has everything he needs to resurrect Omega, but things go from bad to worse. Those who follow the wrong plan have no way of stopping it, but self-sacrifice may be the key to a good ending. It's all the same thing. Thank you for the registration question?